This Appendix episode of Bonfireside Chat is brought to you by our patrons at Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, you can join Legion people who have decided to help us out by kicking us a few bucks a month and help us pay for the show, or at least make it not cost us anything, which is great. And we appreciate it. So thank you.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
My name is Alex Briggs.
And you're listening to a Bonfireside Chat Appendix. It is a very cursed appendix.
You should have it looked at.
Yep.
And this week we are reading your responses to the Crown of the Ivory King DLC. And as you heard, Alex was kind enough to stick around.
I'm the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Alex from the There You Are podcast and future stuff in the future.
Yeah, and from Dublin.
That's when that stuff happens.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we'll be spending the rest of our lives
Oh.
in the future. So we have some responses and stuff for your thoughts on the Ivory King. And Cole, do you want to get us started here?
Yes. So Max Piepenbrink.
That last name is really great, Max. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I just like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm only laughing because I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it, so please forgive me.
It sounds like a eccentric candy maker, like Maxenhoffen, Piepenbrinks, and Stuffenwuffer Cuffin Puffs or something like that. Like it just sounds very, very whimsical in a way I really like.
Yeah,
it's the Imaginarium of Max Piepenbrink.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot say it. I'm sorry, Max.
You could run an Imaginarium.
Yeah,
or a Megorium, a wonderful Emporium. Like I just really like it. So I'm not trying to be mean. I just think it's really great.
yeah. Moving on.
Moving on.
This DLC renewed my hatred of Chihuahuas and the entirety of the Sonic fandom. I faced those old fears when I took an elevator down to the lower areas of the DLC in search of sleepy night friends to help me in the boss fight. Those creepy little Sonic the Icicle Hedgehog Chihuahua-looking assholes were hard to hit and basically Bone Wheels 2.0 to me, with the added improvement of being too small to hit reliably with anything but a downward swing. I was in my soul's prime for this area, but those little guys killed me more than anything here. There is levity, despite this DLC's harrowing difficulty in many spots. It's not often you're given an opportunity as ripe as pushing a snowball down a large slope and watching it roll away all your problems like you're in some sort of Saturday morning cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't have that much to add to that, but it's true. I like the idea of sleepy night friends. Like it's like a creepy nursery rhyme. Like, beware the sleepy night friends that will bring you the right hand. Like it has this very like,
they're like Doctor Who
the
villains.
small ones. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Like exactly what they sound like.
The Sleepy Night Friends. It's the craziest cartoon.
DJ Davis on Facebook says, this is my least favorite of the DLC levels. It's dull, boring, and lifeless. The castle environment doesn't feel abandoned so much as unfinished. On top of this, a terrible ending in which grinding becomes necessary, and a reward that has little value, seeing how you're going to lose it as soon as you progress into the next cycle. So the first, like that last part, I think he's talking about that crown benefit that we're going to talk about in the next episode. I don't think you do lose that in the next cycle. Like
you do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I just confirmed it today.
Okay. I wasn't sure about that. I'm not sure how, like, I don't know, man. Like DJ is very active on our Facebook wall, and there's just like a lot of things I don't agree with DJ about. Like I appreciate all of the participation, but there's a lot of like, it's just like, I just take things in different ways, like, in ways I can't necessarily like understand, So, I mean, which is fine. At the end of the day, we're just disagreeing about video games. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
But it is just one of those things where I just had a real different experience than this.
Yeah. And it's hard to make an argument from experience.
Yeah, totally. Like, it's like, I think that, like, if reading between the lines of this, like, this is really mechanically focused. So, like, the idea that there's little value in that the crown benefit that you get because you lose it in the next cycle. Like, well, yes, there's little value to it mechanically if you're just going to try to get as far as you can into the new game cycles, but it still has a lot of significance kind of story-wise in a way. Like it's a little bit unsatisfying to me ultimately, but like it does have some kind of interest there.
Yeah.
And then saying the ending in which grinding is necessary, like as per last episode, like I just didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's a real quick way to avoid grinding.
Yeah.
It's just not to, it's a real good way to avoid anything. It's just not doing it. So I just like had a different feel to it and different kind of experience.
Yeah. Necessary is a tricky word there.
Yeah. So I just have a different take on it, which again, you can't argue with experience. And like, I think you can kind of like between that, you can kind of articulate the different tacks we're taking with this. And then kind of seeing some of his other posts like throughout the history of Dark Souls 2, like I think that might bear out to be a little bit true. You know, as far as his perspective, but like it just
different sets of values.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it's all just disagreeing about video games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. It's video games. But
and if it feels like we're being flip about like addressing any of the criticisms he has, the main episode could go back and listen to that. That is the evidence that we provide for why we feel the way we feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And well, the thing with the castle thing is so weird because every once in a while someone will just see something as different. This happens with like Vivian all the time too. Vivian, who's been on the show and is a friend, like there are things that she just like will go on about that I just have different experiences with. And at some point I just run out of ways to say, it didn't seem like that to me. You know, I don't, you know, like it didn't like she has a big thing with Red Phantoms having too much health. It just didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
Like they all seemed like Red Phantoms generally are to me. And I can't articulate that in any other ways.
And we're in a tricky position, or at least a different position, because we are the only consistent voices on the show. And I think that we line up in a lot of ways towards seeing the same things.
Yeah.
Or at least have a very similar set of values with this.
I mean, DJ, don't lose all your heart because I didn't super love this either.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was really good, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. So, you're not alone.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want to hear people who disagree with it or anything either. Like we totally do. It's sometimes it's hard when the criticisms just feel like something I can't, I just don't have anything to say. Like, didn't seem that way to me.
And it's not because don't believe Gary. He said before before the recording, I really don't want to hear from anyone that disagrees with me today. He's just trying to be nice, and it's not.
I just want a social justice hug box echo chamber. That's all I care about.
Well, you're on the right network, Gary.
Yeah, it's a white knight for my causes. There's no such thing as white knighting. Can we stop saying that?
Please.
That's like a thing. Like
that's real dumb.
Yeah, it's a real dumb. No, I mean, I'm a straw man. I'm making up in my head. You're a real idiot. Like, I'm not saying it's anybody specific. But
it's an hypothetical asshole.
Yeah.
When I say real dumb, it is a dumb thing to say, not a thing that dumb people say. Like,
you guys are the first people I've ever heard say it.
Oh,
like it comes up on, like, I've been accused of it on Twitter and stuff, and it comes up, and it's dumb. Yeah. Anywho, Alex, do you want to read Chase's
I do.
comment?
Chase Greenlee via Facebook says, the Dark Souls 2 DLC never really landed for me. I'm always down for more Souls, but nothing really connected with me like parts of the main game did. That is, until I plunged into the old chaos, fist first, like a goddamn superhero, by using Acestus and doing the drop attack. Going from the stark white of the snow to the metal as hell lava land caught me off guard. It was a fight that rewarded not only excellent play, but also exploration of the preceding area. It also changes the dynamic of a lot of boss encounters, going from being a duel to being a battle, which we haven't seen yet in a Souls game, not that I remember at least. It was fun, different, and great to have one final echo of the original Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like, also that superhero thing is great.
Yeah, that's really
mad I didn't think of it.
Yep. I just like, how amazing would it be if they put in a little shockwave if you did that?
Yeah.
As like an Easter egg.
So good.
I want it.
One of the things they're doing in Scholar of the First Sin is making the co-op, like being able to have 6 people rather than 4. In a thing, so you could technically have 2 additional phantoms. So if you want to talk about this being a big brawl, you could conceivably bring down 9 people like into this, which is just bonkers.
I thought you were going to say, if you want to talk about being a superhero, you could all fashion Souls as the Avengers.
Yeah, you totally could. Yeah.
And there are enough different permutations of the Avengers lineup that it would be accurate.
Yeah, you could be the Ferosa Avengers. Yeah, Ferosa North Coast Avengers. Yeah, thanks, Chase.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, nothing really to add, but I agree. Mark says via contact. Is it just me, or does the view looking out over the rest of Ilium Lois look the same as when you left the graveyard as you approached the catacombs in Dark Souls 1? Is this actually taking place in a different part of Lordran? I know what he's talking about. It's that like big city you can't really get to or see in Dark Souls 1. We talked about that a lot in the first episode
It's the other
of the show, I
birds.
think. Yeah, the other burgs that you don't actually get to. It does look a little bit like that. But again, that could just be same designers doing the same thing.
Or making the same kind of castle town, right?
Yeah.
But it is at the very least evocative of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
counts.
I also saw that.
Yeah, counts as something.
But I mean,
It's not just you, Mark.
architecture migrates, like they could have been influenced by, you see Art Deco stuff popping up all over the world. So, you never know.
Yeah.
We made that point in the Hades Tower of Flame episode too.
Yeah.
Just the idea that whatever was brought over and formed Hade to look like in Orlando, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that is a fantastic explanation.
Yeah, that would make sense as well to me. But it definitely evokes it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thomas Maglia writes in via Facebook saying, "As Lana, now there's a daughter of Manus you can take home to mama." Agreed. Also, this DLC had some of my favorite weapons in the game. The Rampart Golem Lance was so fun, as was the Ivory Short Sword's lightsaber effect. I had huge hesitations killing the slouched-over enemies at first, dreading a scenario like the dragon eggs in the Aerie. Once they turned hostile, however, I had to laugh at how overly paranoid Dark Souls has made me. I really enjoyed Alsana, the Gathering of the Knights, and the final fight had a demonic chess game look to it. All in all, it would have been my favorite DLC, except for and then he puts in parentheses, see all the above comments about the challenge route complaints.
Which we haven't gotten to yet, but we talked about it in the episode. See last week for us complaining about the same thing.
See anything anybody has to say about the frigid ways.
Vadi likes it.
Oh.
Like I think it's kind of weird. Like he's kind of into it in this weird way, like way more than I am.
Would you say that he's white knighting for it?
I would say he's Snow White Knight.
I love the chess battle.
That's awesome.
Because we didn't talk about
awesome.
it. The Lois Knights, at least the burned ones, they serve a similar function as the Black Knights from Dark Souls 1, in that they are burnt up, charred versions.
Yeah.
So Thomas is absolutely right that you have the chess look with these charred knights versus the non-charred ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Thomas, for sure. And then I also the idea of the dragon eggs, like it being a similar kind of thing, is really cool, and I didn't consider that. But maybe if you had actually done violence to these non-hostile things, you'd be punished for it later. Yeah. So that is
so.
possible. Yeah.
Because you wander through Drang Lake as a murderous bastard.
Yeah, I've said it before, but like I love that in the dragon area, when someone put the soapstone that was like stop, consider life, or it was like something like that. It was like, oh, yeah, I need to bash this egg open. Yeah, Alex, do you want to read Stuart's?
Yes. Stuart via contact says, "When I first stepped into the kiln of the first flame, Dark Souls burst open for me. Those charred pillars and ashen dunes spoke to me like almost no game ever has. It seems like the sun itself could have been kindled in this place. It was that feeling that got me into the lore, into the PvP, the speedruns, into every aspect of the game I could find. Only when diving that insane distance into the old chaos did I feel that explosive interest again. It kindled my curiosity and drove me back deep into a world of lore I had only skimmed until that point. Even seeing Vendrick, the reveal of the Dragon Area, or the final bout with Boney McWant Your Souls didn't pull me in like that reveal. The timing, the atmosphere, the battle, all of it brought me back to the magic that first put Dark Souls on my list of truly great experiences. I wonder if there are any singular moments like that for you guys. If it was a gradual build of interest, or if there was a single scene that sticks in your mind as a defining feeling of the Soul series. I am sorry, you guys. I could not get through that for my life."
That's okay. Yeah, no worries there. It's interesting that Stuart says that, because both moments are really late. Mm-hmm. Like he got that explosion in Killing of the First Flame and at the last DLC boss too.
It makes a sense though, because like, for everything to snap together, there has to be something there to snap together.
Yeah.
So having a body of experience that all of a sudden is kind of like shifted into this new context, like that, that resonates for me.
Yeah.
And we put the last piece of the puzzle in.
Yep, and the last piece of the puzzle exists on its own, but it's not the last piece until it's the last piece.
Yeah.
Alex, do you have anything like that? Do you have any moments where like either of the games kind of came together for you?
Yeah. Well, this game specifically, I think when I realized, or when I got to the Blue Cathedral and fought Ornstein, or he's not Ornstein, he's the ancient something. But I was just like, oh, I see what they're doing here. It was a real great feeling for me.
Mine's pretty similar to that too, actually. The reveal of Hade's Tower of Flame. I thought that it was in Orlando for long enough to really kind of like make that be my line of questioning. And even if the answer was no, like this is not Largeran, like looking at it through that lens provided an in toward it, and the old Dragon Slayer fight was definitely a piece of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I also similar. And then I was under the wrong impression about the Duke's Dear Freya forever. That she actually crawled out of Seath, and I had this whole thing in my mind where like they had found the remains of Seath and were mining crystal out of his corpse. I was really into for a long time before I realized that it's not the same dragon. Yeah. Partly because of like super low resolution. I realized like how many things just look so much better on. I'm not trying to just talk up the PC, but like there are so many things that just make more sense to me now that I'm not playing on the couch from across from my PS3. But as far as like moments, other than that I think about, that kind of string of reveals from Aldea's Keep up into the Ancient Dragon is really impressive to me. Like Aldea's Keep, like I immediately rushed to Facebook and talked sugar about it. Like, oh, okay, like there's this mad scientist here, and this is his like lab, and this is so cool that we're working in this like where this guy is trying to make a dragon. Like I just really like that a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I agree that there are those kind of parts where it's just like everything just kind of like feels better.
Yeah.
Can I take this outside of Dark Souls 2 for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1, the moment for me that really made everything snap was when I figured out that there was a super complicated way to get back to the asylum. I was like, oh, this is a crazy, mysterious, convoluted world where anything can happen, and just everything is a mystery. Okay, cool. Like, that's what snapped the game together for me. Yeah.
The and kind of getting the interplay, like when I found that, when I was like, oh, I wonder where that tower goes to, that's in the woods down there by the Hydra. Oh man, I got to get the key for that, and then I got the key for it and went into it, and it's like, oh, it's Havel, and it just goes back. It like loops back. Like that was really cool. Lachlan says by contact. While I loved all the DLC areas, Crown of the Ivory King was by far my favorite. I love the desolate, snowy atmosphere. It reminded me a lot of the Painted World, which is probably my favorite area in the first Dark Souls. Me too, buddy. I love seeing the mimics, golems, and treasure chests frozen in ice. I love the overwhelming and disorienting blizzard in the challenge area. I love the gaminess of the boss, who is invisible until you find the right item. I loved re-exploring the area after the wind stopped. Most of all, I love that final boss fight against the Ivory King and that entry to the arena. Wow. When I first attempted him, I hadn't found any of the Lois Knights and was completely overwhelmed by the Charred Knights. After re-exploring the level and finding my shiny new Knight Squad, I tried again and had a unique experience in a Souls game, feeling like part of a battle instead of a lone murderer who vows to down every adversary. When the king himself finally appeared, I was able to kill him on the first try, but I did not feel like the fight was cheap or too easy. It felt like an honorable duel with an equal, but I had come through a gauntlet and come out on top. I think all 3 episodes of the DLC are great and really get back to the Dark Souls roots. But more than the others, I felt like Crown of the Ivory King really captured the excitement and fun of exploration that made Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 so compelling, and its best moments remind me of some of my favorite moments from the first Dark Souls. If they're capable of making more episodes like this, I'm with you guys. I would buy a new one every month for the rest of my life. I would probably do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get, I understand why that won't happen. I do want to see them do more stuff, but I would just, I would probably just do Crown of the whatever, every single color in the rainbow. There's red and ochre and green and crowns and
Crown of the Tungsten King.
I am the taupe lord in my taupe fields.
I'd love to do Crown of the Yellow King.
Hell yeah. Oh,
that'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they could bring it back.
Yeah,
like just have it built on the ruins of What's its head? Latria?
Yeah.
That'd be rad as shit. But yeah, I agree with this. Other than the challenge area,
Yeah.
which I didn't love.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, I just mean this the Lachlan's piece. If I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, agreed.
Agreed as well.
Isaiah Christian writes in via Facebook saying, sarcophagus bobsleds to misery. I enjoyed the challenge shown here very much. The Blizzard environment, although very cheap and frustrating, was a cute little too easy for you, try this shit from the developers to players. Worst thing about this DLC is being summoned to fight the main boss by someone who didn't free the AI knights for the fight. Alex.
Listen, I apologized for that already.
Yeah, you can't prosecute Alex twice. Doesn't sarcophagus bobsleds to misery sound like somebody trying not to swear? Sarcophagus bobsleds to misery. I don't want to do that.
It's like a mom has stubbed her toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool mom.
It is a cool mom.
I want to meet that mom.
That'd be amazing. Like, it's like your mom got replaced by an alien who only kind of understands language. Like,
On the Conehead.
yeah. Wait, I was watching. Speaking of Coneheads, I've been watching this cutthroat kitchen show. This bad reality TV show, and like Alton Brown threw in a little Coneheads reference out of nowhere that like everyone just let him get away with. He's like, "Are you ready to consume mass quantities?" And I was like, "What? Like." You seem like a pretty cool guy, Alton Brown. Why are you doing this?
It's been 25 years since that movie.
Is it bad that raises him? Like I didn't think I could respect Alton Brown anymore.
Yeah, he's actually, if you watch that show, he's a monster.
Cool.
Like he's really hard to watch. Like he's just like a real Loki figure. But then every once in a while he does something like that goofy, and you can tell he's just like off the cuff and didn't probably think of it as a Coneheads reference when he said it. But like. That's what that is, right? There's no other consume mass quantities. Like that's the Coneheads.
That's 100% Coneheads.
Okay.
I'm down. I dig it.
Yeah, good job, Alton Brown. Fucking weirdo.
So that's another dissenting opinion on the frigid race rather. I think that all of the challenge areas, with the exception maybe of Alon's and the Iron King DLC, are proof that when From is explicitly developing for difficulty, they can't succeed.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think a lot of the challenge areas in the levels are that. Mm-hmm. Like especially in Iron King.
Mm-hmm. I mean, designing for specifically this kind of difficulty, I guess, which makes it an effectively meaningless statement. However, it's like this is it's almost 100% whiffs.
To me, I think there are whiffs too, but to me, they actually don't seem, other than the Ivory King one, don't seem that different than actual areas of the game. The reason why I think they fall flat is because they go on so long and they're to no end. Yeah. Like they're just this big dumb optional corridor. Like if you were to cut up the Iron King, those like individual floors with the sniper mages and stuff, like I would be okay with that as part of the level. If it fit in like a diegetic way. Yeah. What bothers me is that it is meaningless to go fight a boss. Like you go through this tedium to go fight a boss that you've already fought before, to get a minor reward.
That was the biggest bullshit. I felt like a slap in the face after I fought through all that thing and then had to fight this stupid smelter demon again. Yeah.
And like so far, all of them have been for enemies we've already fought. Like even Gank Squad is like, those are versions of enemies we've already fought. Yeah. They're just invaders. Like if they put something, I think there should be a really interesting optional boss there. And like, I don't even want to it's hard for me to lump Alon in there because that adds to the story. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a challenging area, but like it seems more significant to me.
Yeah. It would be great if instead of those two cats, we fought like a really big red invader that was in like sort of a chariot pulled by 2 or 3 of those horses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What if we fought Santa, you guys?
I'm down. Make it like a version of the Executioner chariot.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like in the War on Christmas, what side are you on?
He just swings around throwing gifts at you.
That'd be amazing. And then when they land, they're like the little gifts in the game, the in-game gifts, and you pick them up, they're just rubbish. Or charcoal resin.
Yes. No,
you've been very bad.
Special items. It's an eggnog resin.
Oh, I can finally nog my sword.
Get nogged. That just becomes the meme for YouTubes.
Shall I read Jose's?
Yep. Let's do it.
Jose Maya via Facebook writes, "The challenge area was the area that finally broke me. I've beaten every other area in both Souls games, most of them a few times. But after beating my head against the snowy wall repeatedly, I finally decided to wait for my buddy to get to the end of the DLC so we could go do the area together. We did so, and it worked out pretty well. For a while. We managed to beat the crap out of the magic charging reindeers and found the boss arena. We walked in, and it's another cat. Wow, thanks, From. That was innovative. Sorry, I've been in Ireland for a while. That was innovative. Then the other cat showed up. I died and rage quit the game. The true Dark Souls experience."
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. But imagine if instead of those cats, it was Santa.
Yeah, then I would be pretty into it. Because I thought it was like evocative, the idea like he has these 7 pets, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna meet those pets. And then when you do, it's like I wished on a monkey paw, like you want to meet their pets, don't you? They suck, and he had to go through a 20-minute slog to get to them. Matthew says by contact, rolling that big snowball was awesome. That snowball had a real big effect on people. Destroying those dudes on the bridge and creating a shortcut at the same time felt great, even though I never ended up needing to use that shortcut. Screw those respawning horses in the snowy field. I did not enjoy that area. I didn't have too much trouble fighting them, but when I couldn't figure out which way I was supposed to be going, I was constantly having to stop to fight them. Because I was constantly having to stop to fight them, I wasn't having very much fun. I eventually ended up running past all the horses and through the whole area until I reached the boss door, while Vengarl and whoever that other person was trailed behind. That's Viva! Yeah, and they will kind of aggro the horses for a while, but they just don't last very long. And that touches on a reason why this is so hard, is that like you can't maintain orientation during a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if I'm heading in a direction because I saw before the snowstorm, I saw a ruin there. If I get into a fight, I can't keep my camera in that direction. So it's very hard to figure out which way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
exactly right.
I wonder if what is it? Those the prism stones would help for this. Like you leave a line of prism stones like once every 10 feet.
Yeah, breadcrumb trail.
Yeah. And then that way you have at least a straight line to keep your orientation.
Do the
That'd be
prism,
cool.
now I've never used a prism stone. Do they stick around after you die?
I don't know. I don't know because I use them. I use 2 of them in the Dukes in the Crystal Caverns in Dark Souls 1, and then realized I could do the same thing with my bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And it'd be quicker. So I haven't really used them either.
Neither have I.
Yeah. I did in the Duke's archives. I did it with soapstone messages.
Yeah.
I just left myself in a trail of messages saying this way over and over and over again.
I guess you could do that too with a snow trail.
With the
Yeah.
with the added benefit of maybe lighting up the path for somebody else.
Yeah.
But I've never seen anyone do that, which makes me think I wonder if it'll let you do it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would have seen some orange soapstone messages.
Or
Yeah, there's some around, but they're not pointing at anything.
Yeah.
It just says this way, but if you come upon it, it
doesn't help.
it's super helpful.
I'm going to move on to a just fun in here from RJ Sebastian, who writes in via contact saying, I entered Ash Lake and I'm just about level 46 or so, and I haven't gotten the Lord Vessel yet. So I knew, thanks to you, that I shouldn't rest at bonfires down the way. Well, I made it to the dragon, and to my surprise, you don't like the bonfire. You automatically just rest there. I was very lucky because I got out in one try. There are very few long ladders that lead to the first platform with Basilisk, so it actually isn't so hard. The only hard part is to find the second ladder after the Ash Lake. It's very well hidden against the wall. And I just put that in there for just funnin' because that is somebody else who should have listened to our advice.
Yeah.
Well, he did, but he didn't. It didn't execute, right? But
Yeah.
it is a way that our advice factored into his playthrough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
But he made it out.
Yeah, yes, he did. I am including this as a kind of mercenary thing. If you know people who are getting into Dark Souls, we can provide a much needed service.
Yes. yes. So thanks everybody. If you have things to say about the about the end game, kind of culminating thoughts on Dark Souls 2 before it gets made invalid in a couple months, please let us know. Reach out to us, Duckfeed.tv/contact. That's what we're going to be talking about during the next episode. And the first half's going to be me and Cole talking about it, and the second half's going to be all your stuff. So we want to hear about it. Try to limit it. We just saying in the end, I think Dark Souls 2 is really good. is less useful than like, this is what I think the story and like what the wrap up means to us. So try to limit it to that, just in, not to discourage anybody's contributions, but just that's more kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And Alex, thank you again for sticking around.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas. I had a really great time.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. If you end up getting Bloodborne, we'll swing on by. Cool. We'll swing on by Dublin town and pick you up. Where can people find
I
you?
could probably pick you guys up.
Yeah,
if you're swinging by Dublin, I can go out to the airport.
I appreciate that. It's not just us wandering through the rain. Where can people find your stuff online?
You can find me at JAlex on Twitter, or listen to my show, There You Are, that I do with my friend Dan, at www.thereyouarepodcast.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
/butts.
Yeah. Yes, and you should check it out. It is worth your time. And as far as we're concerned, ratings, reviews on iTunes, that's all appreciated. And becoming a patron on Patreon is also appreciated. If you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, even as little as $1 a month makes a big difference. I had the realization that if everyone who downloads our show gave us $1 a month, I'm pretty sure that we could just do this full time.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Like really easily. So like, just throw that in there. Whenever we say like, man, I would love to do a show about this, but we have to do all this other garbage. Like everybody who downloads $1 a month.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't want to speak for everyone in the network and to say I would quit and Kole would quit and all that stuff. But like, it is just a little bit helps is all I'm trying to say.
Yes, it would solve a lot of problems. And if acknowledging that everybody paying $1 for every download is ridiculous. You know what happens when you donate $5? You cover all those other people who didn't.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we definitely appreciate it. So I think that's probably it. Just I have some brief deleted scenes. Yeah. Popping out, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Umbasa.
Umbasa.
Umbasa. Fellas, give me 2 seconds. I have to grab my charger real quick.
Okay.
That's fine.
Take a drink of water.
Yeah.
I've earned it.
Take a drink of water. He's mining for his charger.
Take some time to play some of the songs in bass and rock band, Gary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
There's some gems in there that I didn't realize were so good.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm gonna kind of start playing it soon, and then just kind of make my way through as much as I can. Like making sure I do the minimum. But again, I do feel like I've got enough hours into it.
Institutional knowledge.
Yeah. Not as much as you do. Like I think that you definitely spent more time in that game than I have, but like I've spent a lot. So.
Yeah. So I like basically what I've done. I played everything on guitar, most things on bass, and I'm probably going to be very selective about vocals and drums because vocals are difficult in my apartment, and drums I'm not going to be anywhere near as good as I used to be. So
yeah.
This background noise.
There's all kinds of Foley going on there.
It's like that the mansion scene in Monkey Island.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was here the whole time.
Oh.
Podcast audience.
You're just like playing with some tinfoil to create the sound effects. So I forget where we were talking about how he's playing with you like a cat.
Yeah.
Like a cat. Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah.
I don't have to talk on mic necessarily about that, but I would feel so much cleaner if we didn't have Dark Souls 2 content leaking into
into Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Yeah.
Otherwise you just feel nasty.
Yeah. I'm a military man. I like a military plate. Yeah.
Is that what you call that?
That's a Toys quote.
Oh, okay.
That's something LL Cool J says in Toys. I don't know. That's like always stuck with me. I don't know why.
I love
he's explained to Joan Cusack.
I like a military plate. I've never heard of that terminology.
Yeah, came from LL Cool J in Toys.
Nice turn of phrase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he's a good guy.
Sure. I don't think anyone's taking any issue with LL Cool J.
Yeah, like he's fine.
Cool. Yeah, and we have you coming into your own track and everything as well. So everything is taken care of on my end.
Awesome.
Cool. This is Gary. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Gary. You know, I listened to the show.
Oh no, I just wanted to introduce us as people though.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
And I'm the cabinet.
this is Kole the Cabinet Ross.
oh, that's good. Is that your morning show?
Yeah. Stick drugs in him. He's the medicine cabinet.
Yes, that is our morning show. Yes, and
Yes.
It was seamless.
Yeah. yeah, very smooth. Elizabeth says hi.
Hi, Elizabeth.
I will relay that to her tomorrow. Probably.
Yeah. You don't want to give her a call.
Hmm?
You don't want to give her a call right now.
I could patch her in. Hey babe, what do you think about Dark Souls?
you're on Cabinet in the Morning.
Yeah, you're on the Cabinet Boys.
Dan was telling me, Gary, that he tried to get you to have him on the show, having never played any Dark Souls.
Yeah. It was funny because he was joking, and then I was in a weird mood or had some beers or something, so I didn't know at first, and I was like, just like trying to politely just be like, that'd be weird. I don't know. It was totally joking, but we've talked about having, or I've talked to Elizabeth about having her on and having the same kind of thing. Like, okay, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
What do we know about the word dark? Well, it stands in contrast to light. It is,
thematically appropriate for the game, I suppose.
yeah. It looks
the concept of darkness.
Yeah. What is a soul? We could fill 90 minutes right there.
Some religions have dedicated thousands of years to that question.
Yeah.
There are entire philosophy departments at universities.
Yep.
Just talking about that right now.
In the soul industrial complex.
Big soul. You're listening to Theology Cabinet with Ray Axe and Cole. Creak.
Oh, I was just gonna call it the religion cabinet, but that would just be a tabernacle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a cloister.
Exactly what a tabernacle is.
Yeah, it's a religion cabinet.
I mean, an ark could it be also maybe an ark?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's more of a religion footlocker.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh man, the mall didn't know what to expect when the religion footlocker took hold.
Well, the religion footlocker is too bad, but it's right next to the religion lady footlocker, and that just takes up a lot of mall real estate.
Yeah. They wash your feet before they shoot them.
Yeah.
And then
They wear striped habits.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Cool. Do you guys want to talk about this game, what we like to play?
And we all pray that we will have far more soon